Hello, this is Brian here. I'm going to stray away from what I usually do on my car video or my Ducati video or my Sur-Ron bike video. I do a lot of videos on that, but occasionally I do lawn equipment videos and reviews of random things. Today I want to bring to you because I'm making a pretty big change, and I think it's a cool content because there's a lot of people viewing lawnmower stuff and lawn equipment, and I've had pretty good response from people on my Echo leaf blower, my Echo weed eater, gas weed eater, line trimmer, sorry, and some of my other lawn equipment that's around the garage that I can't think of. But today I want to bring to you my 2012 Lawnboy 5.5 foot-pounds of torque 140cc motor. This is my mower that I bought at the end of 2012 and used 2013 through 2024. It's been a really great mower. It's kind of a classic mower. When I was little, I remember the term, and I was born in 1970, so I remember the term or the brand name Lawnboy, and so when I was getting my first home, or getting into my first home, that's when I needed a mower. I'd lived in apartments for nearly 20 years, and I didn't need a mower. So in 2012, I needed to buy a mower, and so I went to Home Depot near my house and looked at the mowers, and I saw the Lawnboy, and I was like, that's the one I want. And so that's the one I ended up with. So let me just go into some details. It's 140cc, it's the 20-inch deck. I mean, back then, I really wanted, now I want a wide deck, because cuts down on the mowing time. And it's self-propelled rear-wheel drive, and it's been a fantastic mower. I haven't done a lot to it over the 12 years that I've owned it. I've changed the oil like 3 times. That's a lot of years that I've used it, but I changed the oil 3 times, not every year, probably every 3 years. I think 10W30 or straight 30 weight synthetic oil. And the one thing, let me just tell you, that I've done with this mower, I have had to use it for a wide variety of stuff in my yard. My yard has rocks in it. Through the years, different rocks will come to the surface. And they're not little rocks, they're big rocks. And I usually mow on the 2nd or the 3rd level, and it picks up rocks and it'll clank them around in there. I have trees that grow these roots that grow around the surface of the grass, and then they get little knots, and then those grow up, and those are about, between the 2nd notch and the 3rd notch up. And every once in a while, if one grows, I'll hit that, and it'll and do that to the motor and the blade, which is it just really is hard to do that. I really try to take care of everything I own, and that happens a lot. And then also too, I live on a very, very, very busy road, and cars and trucks are driving up and down this at 50, 60 miles an hour, like 20 miles an hour faster than they should be, all day, all night. And car parts fly off cars, trucks with garbage flies off their trucks. People are stealing the phone lines, and the power lines now around the house, and they just come in and cut them, and everything drops to the ground. Wires get in my yard, metal car parts like lug nuts and metal brackets, steel solid metal brackets, and they will get in the grass and sit down in the grass, and then I come and mow and I hit that stuff, and it's literally like hitting a brick, like mowing over a brick. It's literally, just horrendous noises, and I can see, and if we get a closer view, you can see all the large dents from the inside that have, when I've hit metal pieces, and I'm just mowing the grass, and it's like, I'm just like, oh, I try to hit stop and pull it, turn it over, and there's just a metal bracket from a car or something in the environment that has now been flung into my yard and has gone into my mower. And I've actually hit, just real quick, I've hit a root that I was trying to get around and just caught the edge of it, and it bent my blade. It bent the end of my blade up. And most of the time when I hit some of these things, my motor's screaming wide open, and then it hits so hard it just shuts the motor off, and the blade just stops instantly. And I know that is just terrible, but I just can't get around it sometimes. It's just my crappy yard, and I don't necessarily have a nice grass, a premium grass lawn. It's got weeds mixed in with grass, and so it grows really quickly. And when we have lots of rain, it grows, within 4 or 5 days it'll grow 3 or 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches. And so I'm constantly mowing, and I'm using this mower from middle of March, end of March, April, May, June, July, August, September, sometimes maybe in October. So it's getting a lot of use, and then I store it away for about 3 or 4 months. I try to drain the gas and do it appropriate, but I haven't given it a lot of attention. And man, this thing has just been rock solid. For about the first 7 years, this mower has started basically on the first or the second pull. And then after that, the motor's become detuned a little bit. I've had to do some things to it, but obviously, the motor's worn in and it's getting old and it's just not as powerful as it is. And then 140 cc's is not very powerful. And I really starts to bog down in the grass that's probably about that high. And my grass holds a lot of moisture. So it may rain 1 week, and if I 5 days later come and mow, the underside of my mower is sopping wet, and my shoes will be wet from walking behind the mower. So that puts a lot of extra strain on the blade, and I don't really use my bag much. But let me show you this. So I mentioned this is rear-wheel drive. It has a belt that runs off the blade, and it has a belt that comes back to the transmission right here. And I think some of it's metal, some of it's plastic, but I haven't had to replace the belt, which it's pretty decent over the 12 years to not have a belt go bad. So I had to replace that. I have replaced the filter. These things get really dirty really quickly. If you wash, water gets under there. A lot of crap goes in here and gets these really dirty really fast. It's just, I wish they made a sock that went over this that kind of you could take off and shake that off, and then you wouldn't have to buy these as often. But I probably buy these once a year. So I've bought maybe 6 of them. I haven't bought them once a year, but I bought about 6 of them because I try to take care of it. Like I said, I've changed the oil about 3 times. Likely should have done it a lot more, but the mower runs pretty good. Still has a lot of compression. I'm not going to start it up here, but it really takes some pull to pull that, so it's got pretty good compression. I've changed the plugs maybe 3 times. Let's see, I've changed the plug, changed the filter. I usually run 87, but lately I've been running 93 because my car takes 93, and sometimes if I have excess gas around, I want it to be at least something that can go in my car in an emergency or something. So I try to stock up on gas, and so I just end up buying 93 gas, and then I put the 93 in there. And not necessarily a bad thing for this mower, but it always has ethanol. All my stuff has 10 or 15% ethanol in it, so the mower is running pretty good. I hear people reviewing that are pretty smart with these and have more experience than me that say, don't ever run ethanol in these. They won't last, they won't run good, they're hard on the mowers, don't do it. And so 12 years I've been running 10, 15% ethanol in these, and it's been running really, really well. Let's see. But the mower's in really, really good shape, other than all the dents and the impacts from the inside, which broke my heart when it happened. I got them pretty bad over here. Let me show you. As you can see here, when I hit some metal car parts in the yard and it got spun around in there, which is a terrible thing because it doesn't, it stays together and the blade keeps hitting it and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. It puts some, pretty large dents from that getting slung around in there, and then bouncing up against the fence, wear and tear on this is a metal deck. It's pretty thick, and the wheels have held up fairly well, going up against rocks and concrete ledges that I have, and fences, metal fences. They have wear and tear on them, but they're actually doing pretty good. No ball bearings. And other than my handle here that comes up, you can see it just gets scratched up against the different fences that I have, the metal fences and walls and things, and there's some rust right there. And this actually, is pretty basic, but works really, really well. I've had to, adjust it maybe 3 or 4 times over the 12 different years. This is the original pull string, and it is not broken. I've not had to replace it. I keep this mower stowed in my garage when I'm not using it, and I try to wash it and after I use it, not all the time, but when I know I'm mowing really, really wet grass, I don't leave I try not to. Try not to leave the wet grass stuck underneath and to where it can rust. But the underside is pretty rusty and pretty tore up. Let me show you that real quick. All right, so here's the underside of my mower. I cleaned it a little bit last time I used it, but there you can see a lot of the paint's removed. I've sharpened my blade. I want to make sure I don't make it fall over on the other side. I did have to replace this blade one time because it got really bent up when it hit a root. So this is my second blade, but I've sharpened it maybe 4 times or 4 or 5 times over the 12 years on my little table grinder over there. And obviously the little cover comes off here, the plastic cover that has the belt for the rear wheel drive. And here's the little transmission, and it's plastic and it has a little bit of metal on it. Metal gears, maybe the metal gear on the wheel. It could be plastic, but I can't remember. But I have had to take that off and clear off grass that got stuck in there, and just general maintenance on the mower. But this thing is run really, really well, but it is time, and that's the real reason why I'm making the video. It is time to get a new mower. I'm just tired of mowing through the grass when it's damp and having this motor bogged down, and it's getting to where it's getting worse and getting worse as time goes on, where I'm sure it's needs more of a being taken into the shop and actually having a real tune-up, not just changing the plug out, but actually maybe having the valves checked. I do get some leakage around here, but again, the motor is it's 12 years old and it's served a good purpose. I don't know if I bought this for maybe $259, $269, $279 back in 2012. But yeah, it's got a rear bag that goes on here, and this is one downside. This is why I don't bag a lot, is that this is a pretty small bag. I mean, it functions well. It's not big at all. I mean, I might have to dump this 3 times just with my backyard. And so this is kind of a sucky option to use because you're constantly taking this off and putting it on. But the grass does look better because you don't have all the clippings around. So this is it has no side discharge, it has no capability of side discharging, which I personally would use 99% of the time. So it's a mulching mower, and so that wet grass just gets spun around in there, and then that's what's causing it just to bog down. So you can really only mulch with it, or you can bag with it. But other than that, it's ran really, really good. I got my money out of it, and I'm really happy with it. I wanted to share it with you. Maybe a lot of people like watching lawnmower videos and lawn equipment videos. And this is kind of a classic. It's not a 1999 Lawboy, but it is a similar kind of an old Lawboy compared to 2024. And this thing doesn't really fold up or do anything fancy. It's got the old school levers that kind of raise it up and down, but that's actually a good thing because these are really, really solid. But the new mower that I'm getting, and I'm really excited about, and that's probably the real reason why I'm making this video, is that I'm getting a new mower, and it's going to be 163 cc. So hopefully it's going to cut through my grass a lot better. And not have to slow down. I mean, where I have to slow down and let the motor catch up. And then sometimes this motor would actually die and I'd have to restart it, and it just slows things down. I'd rather just be able to just mow through really fast and get the job done and put this inside, because I got a weed eat too. And then I've got when I get my new mower, I'm probably going to continue to use this mower and use this for the kind of the hard stuff where the rocks are in the yard, or when it has to get really up against the fence, or you know, things that are going to scratch it all up and the potential to hit things. So I'm not going to jeopardize my new $500 mower in that regard. So I'm going to just use that to cut the more open grass, which is kind of expansive, and get through that really fast, then pull this out and then do some of the harder work, and then edge, and then do some things like that. So I just wanted to share the video. Hopefully, you know, you might find it informative or interesting. Better terms, interesting better than informative. But if you like a little bit older lawn mowers, or you like lawn boys, here's a premium prime example. And like I said, I've had good use out of it, and it really is probably my first mower that I purchased. Obviously, my parents, when I was growing up, we had plenty of mowers, but you know, I didn't own them, and I wasn't on my own. So this is basically my first mower, and now I'm going to my second mower. And I'm really excited to get it. It's really, really cool. I know I'll make a video on it. There's plenty of videos, but I'll just make a video on it just because I'm a proud new owner of that lawnmower, and I'll compare this older mower to the newer one, and I have just a prime example of my front yard that needs to be cut because it rains and the weeds and the grass grow so quickly. And so we'll compare and see if I made a good purchase, and I'm really happy with what I got. So other than that, give me a like and check back maybe for more videos when you see lawn equipment pop up, and catch me on those next videos. All right, bye-bye and have a great day.